What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the channel, and for those of you who've been here before, welcome back to the channel. And for those of you who have seen the thumbnail, you're probably just like me getting ready to get your toys back out on the road since it's spring now. Now with that said, what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to be putting a brand new battery in our R1 build. If you guys haven't seen this build, you guys can go back to the channel, or I'll put a link in the description below to see how we got the bike to look like it does, minus the dust all over because it's been in storage. Moving forward, as listed above, we are going to be putting a lithium battery inside this bike, and I want to show you the comparisons and difference between a lead-acid battery and lithium. Okay, and so moving forward, getting this thing done, this particular bike is actually an 05 with an 08 tail section. We did that in our build to make it a little bit different than others, but regardless whether your bike is an 05 or an 08, it should all pretty much be the same thing. Now the first thing we have to do is get the front seat off this bike, and that's fairly easy. Now there's two bolts, one in each corner of these seats back here. Yours might be a 10mm, yours also might be an Allen key. Regardless of whatever it is, we need to get those two bolts out with the socket and pull this front seat off. Now with the seat off, you can kind of see where those tabs exactly are. Mine are a little tore up, but I actually have a brand new seat. I haven't put on this yet. Hopefully it'll fit a little bit better because this one's kind of thin as far as fitting on the 08. That's a whole nother video. These are where the bolts come out of right here. So now that I have mine out, we need to focus on the actual battery itself. Now this battery was new last year. It's just not great. And for those of you who have a Yamaha, you know, these things soak up batteries. Like, they eat them up like it's nothing. So the first thing I need to do is I need to get the front strap off. So that's pretty much that right there. It comes off real easy. And now I got two 10mm bolts that I'm going to pull out right here. And so now with those two bolts out, it's going to be a little bit of work to wiggle it out. Ours, particularly, we have to get this harness out of the way, and then I got to kind of wiggle it up and out of here, as you can see how it's coming there. It's going to be tough with just one hand and one-hand camera, but let me go ahead and pull this out. We're going to do a comparison of the actual batteries. Okay, and so here is an up-close of both our batteries. Now, I kind of like this battery that we chose here a year or so ago, and the reason we chose this, we put this in one of our stand-up jet ski builds, and it worked really, really well. It was a slightly larger battery, but we had no problems with it. It fired the thing up over every single time. And this kind of the same. It was just kind of weak overall when it sat for maybe a week and a half. It just didn't want to crank like it normally would, and that's the one thing I didn't like about it. Now, comparing size, basically the size is all the same thing. If you look at them, they're pretty much identical side by side. Obviously this being lithium and this being the lead acid. There's not much difference in size. Weight though, you ask. Weight. I got a scale right here. Let's weigh the lead acid. So lead acid's about 5.5 pounds overall. Not bad. Not real heavy, but not real light. And the lithium is, well, under 2. So it's about the third of the weight. You'll be surprised this thing literally, I mean, it weighs, you can see I pick it with 2 fingers, it weighs nothing. And you're not going to win any races probably with the weight difference, but every little bit of weight obviously counts, and obviously lithium does well, or does a little bit better as far as being shaken and moving around. Now, again, one of the reasons I chose this one originally, I really like the battery indicator on it. It's very specific and shows you exactly what the voltage is. You can see, even though it's 12 volts, it's blinking because it is low. It should be closer to like 12.7, 12.9. So it is on the low side, and that was actually just from a running bike the other day. So you can see over time the battery degrades, plus it just doesn't hold the greatest charge. Now this one also has a battery meter, except it's a little different. It just shows you percentage, which is pretty typical on lithium. This one being at 90%. I don't have an actual lithium charger, but my regular charger, which is a motorcycle charger, got it all the way up to 90%, which is kind of typical. It's hard to charge any lithium over 80%. So it's time to throw this thing in. Let's move to the bike. Okay, and so now our battery is back in, and while I was back there, I went ahead and installed a battery maintaining cable that actually comes out of the rear passenger tail. So anytime that you need to maintain this battery, the bike's been sitting over winter, all you gotta do is pop off that back seat, and it is right there. If you guys are interested in this, I'll go ahead and put a link in the description below so you guys have that. But for now, it's time to start the bike. One thing I do want to share with you before I go and get into that, the old battery was rated at 190 cold cranking amps. This one is rated at 300. I don't particularly know the difference in batteries and how that'll work, but I will know by hearing it when we crank this thing up, whether it's turning over faster or slower. Okay, and so for the record, this bike has not been started in a couple days. This is going to be a fresh start with a fresh battery. Key on, engine on, bike is primed. Hard to see the level of that thing covering. Oh, there it is. It's at 90. Oh, full charge, it says. Go ahead and cut it. So, from what I heard, it didn't really crank over any faster than the other one. So, I don't know how you guys rate yours. Again, maybe you had a better battery prior to mine. It still wasn't a fast crank, but it also was only at 80%. So, I think I really have to go for a ride on this bike and get that thing to full charge to see what its full cranking capacity is. But I guess only time will tell how well this battery does. I will go ahead and put a link in the description below for now for this battery. If I change my mind and decide that this battery isn't feasible to keep in a bike, I will update the video with a different battery or whatever's capable of being in there that needs to be in there. All right, and with that said, it was simple as that, replacing the battery. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick, simple little tutorial on how to change your battery. I'll probably have a couple more videos up in the spring, just to make sure you guys are ready to get back on the road. This is actually the last bike at our stable. Everything else has been sold now. This is literally the only one we have left. I'm sure more will come, but for now we'll do a couple more videos on this for those of you R1 guys that need kind of a DIY know-how on how to work on these bikes or get these things ready for spring. We'll have more videos coming to you. If you guys like that content, throw that thumbs up, and if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. You'll see when the new videos come out. I'll see you in the next one.